You want to know what's silently ruining your life? It's the mindset that someone else is responsible for how your life looks. It's the mindset that says, I can't do it because of him, her, them, this system, that problem. Let me tell you something hard and true. As long as you're pointing fingers, you're not moving forward. Blame is the mindset of the weak. And the world doesn't reward the weak. It steps over them. You wake up late, scroll through your phone, feel anxious, and say, I'm just not motivated today. What you don't understand is that nobody cares. The world doesn't care about your feelings. The gym doesn't care that you're tired. Your goals don't care that you had a bad day. You have to build discipline like a weapon, because discipline is what gets things done when your emotions are crying for comfort. You think sitting in your room overthinking, binge, watching series, numbing yourself with junk food, and blaming your past is going to build your empire. That's not self-care. That's self-destruction dressed up in denial. You're addicted to comfort. And comfort is the most dangerous addiction in the world because it looks harmless. You want results, but you won't suffer. You want growth, but avoid pain. You want respect, but haven't earned it. Understand this, every successful person chose pain. They chose discomfort. They chose to shut up, show up, and level up. And here's the final truth. You're not special. You're not born behind. You're not cursed. You're just undisciplined and unwilling. Change that. Shift your mindset from why me, to try me, from I can't, to watch me, from it's hard, to good. That means it's working. You don't need more advice. You need to take action. Every second you waste doubting is another second your competitor is training, learning, building. You either become the lion or get eaten. Get up, own it, fix it, or stay average. The choice is yours. Victim mentality is a disease, not a physical one, but a mental, emotional, and spiritual one that quietly infects every area of your life. It disguises itself as harmless thoughts. Why does this always happen to me? People are against me. I just a bad luck, or it's not my fault things turned out this way. You start telling yourself a story that you're the character the world beats down. The punching bag, the one who tries, but life is unfair. And here's the dangerous part, it feels true. Because yes, life is unfair. Bad things happen. People betray. Situations collapse. You were probably handed pain you didn't deserve. But what makes victim mentality destructive is that it doesn't stop at acknowledging the pain. It makes you identify with it. It convinces you that your past is your identity, that your scars define you. And the moment you believe that you've surrendered, you're no longer fighting to win. You're fighting to justify why you're losing. When you're in a victim mindset, you stop looking for solutions and start collecting excuses. Every failure becomes someone else's fault. Every delay is blamed on something external. You build a case in your head that your hands are tied, your options limited, your power non-existent. And once you truly believe you're powerless, you behave powerless. You stop trying. You stop showing up with fire. You stop making the bold decisions necessary to change your situation. You settle, not because you have to, but because the story in your head tells you that's all you're allowed to do. Here's the truth. The world owes you nothing. It doesn't owe you success. It doesn't owe you understanding. It doesn't owe you healing. You've been waiting for someone to fix things for you. Your parents, your friends, society, some miracle, some apology, some compensation. But nobody's coming. There's no rescue mission. There's only you. And once you understand that, you stop sitting in the corner of your life crying about the rain and start building a roof over your head. Victim mentality feels safe. It gives you a reason not to act. It tells you, it's okay, this isn't your fault, you don't have to change. But safety isn't strength, and making excuses isn't freedom. Real freedom comes when you own everything, even what wasn't your fault, even what broke you. Because when you own it, you regain control. And when you have control, you can change direction, you can rebuild, you can make power moves. You can create the life that right now seems impossible, but not while you're still stuck in that poisonous cycle of blame, pity, and helplessness. Think about it. How long have you been waiting for life to be fair? How long have you been hoping things would just fix themselves? And where has that gotten you? The cold truth is this: the longer you live in a victim mindset, the longer you delay your own progress. The longer you nurse your wounds, instead of training your mind, the deeper you sink. The world doesn't reward those who cry the loudest. It rewards those who fight the hardest. You need to kill this mindset. Not tomorrow, but no. Start telling yourself a new story. Not why me, but try me. Not I'm broken, but I'm building. Stop blaming and start claiming. Claim your pain. Claim your choices. Claim your next move. Because once you do, you'll stop being the victim of your life and start becoming the architect of it. That's where your power begins. And it's the only place it's ever been. Comfort is a trap. It doesn't show up like a threat. It disguises itself as peace, as rest, as something you've earned. And that's what makes it dangerous. Most people don't realize it, but comfort is the silent killer of dreams. The warm bed that makes you skip your early workout. The mindless entertainment that replaces your reading. The daily routine that keeps you from chasing what's bigger, better, harder. You tell yourself just one more hour, one more episode. I'll start tomorrow, and you believe it because comfort feels good now. But that good is short term. It's fake progress. It's spiritual junk food. The more you feed on it, the weaker your hunger gets. And if you kill your hunger, you kill your drive. And if you kill your drive, you become average. And let's be honest, there's nothing inspiring about average. You were not built to sit in comfort. You were built to overcome, to build, to dominate, to suffer and rise from it. But every time you choose comfort over discipline, you lose a little piece of that potential. You get softer, slower. You become a version of yourself that looks alive but is already fading. And here's the real tragedy. You don't even realize it's happening. Comfort blinds you. You're not failing dramatically. You're just slowly fading into irrelevance, into laziness, into regret. Because regret isn't born out of one big mistake. It's built one small, comfortable decision at a time. Think about your greatest moments of growth. Were you comfortable? No, you were struggling. Doubting, working harder than ever. Growth doesn't live in ease. It lives in pressure, in pain, in pushing beyond what feels safe. The gym hurts. Waking up early sucks. Building something new is exhausting. But all of it is necessary. Because nothing worth having is born in comfort. You don't level up by chilling. You level up by suffering on purpose. By putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that force you to grow, adapt, and evolve. We live in a world addicted to comfort. Everything is faster, easier, softer. And everyone's depressed, lost, and unfulfilled. Coincidence? No. The less we suffer, the less we grow. And when you stop growing, you start dying, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So if you feel stuck, it's not because you're cursed. It's because you're too comfortable. You've built a prison out of ease. And the worst part is you've decorated it like a palace. You call it self-care, mental health, taking a break, when deep down, you know it's just fear. Fear of change, fear of failing, fear of pain. But here's the secret: most people never learn pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Discomfort is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Every time you feel uncomfortable, it's a signal you're on the edge of growth. But most people run from that feeling. They go back to safety, back to average, and then wonder why nothing in their life changes. Why their goals feel so far away. Why they always feel behind. It's because you can't chase something extraordinary with an ordinary level of discomfort. You have to suffer intentionally, because suffering with purpose builds power. So stop chasing comfort. Start chasing challenge. Wake up earlier. Do what you hate like it's your mission. Train your mind to love the hard things. Because hard things make strong people. And this world doesn't need more comfortable people. It needs dangerous ones. Disciplined ones, relentless ones. You can become that. But only if you're willing to walk away from comfort and step into the fire. That's where the transformation happens. That's where you become untouchable. Comfort will lie to you. Discipline will set you free. Waiting for motivation is weak. It's one of the most common excuses people use to stay average. You'll hear them say, "I'm just not feeling it today," or "I'll start when I feel more inspired," as if success is some magical emotion that's going to wake them up one morning, drag them out of bed, and make them do the hard things. That's not how it works. Motivation is unreliable. It's a feeling, and feelings lie. One day you're excited, the next you're lazy. One moment you want to take on the world. The next you want to hide in your blanket and scroll endlessly. If you rely on that feeling to take action, you've already lost. You've built your entire future on something that comes and goes like the wind. That's not strength. That's weakness wrapped in emotional dependency. Winners don't wait to feel like doing it. They just do it. They don't care if they're tired, bored, sad, anxious, uninspired. They get up and execute. Because they understand something the weak don't. Success is built on discipline, not on moods. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. That's what separates the elite from the average. The elite wake up and hit the gym, even when they'd rather sleep. They work on their goals when others are partying. They study when others are watching Netflix. Not because they're motivated every day, but because they made a decision that their future matters more than their feelings. The world doesn't reward your intentions. It rewards your results. Nobody cares if you wanted to become great but didn't feel like working. Life doesn't give you points for being emotional. It gives you points for performance. And if you keep waiting for motivation to strike, you'll keep sitting exactly where you are, wasting time, wasting talent, and falling further behind. While you're waiting to feel ready, someone else is outworking you. They're grinding in silence. They're sacrificing. They're uncomfortable, but they're getting ahead. And one day you'll look at them and say, "They got lucky." No, they just stopped waiting for motivation and started acting like a warrior. You need to train your mind to stop negotiating with itself. The moment you give your emotions a vote, you lose. Your brain will always choose the path of least resistance because it's wired for survival, not greatness. That's why you have to override it with discipline. You set a schedule. You follow it like a machine. You stop asking yourself how you feel about it and start reminding yourself why you're doing it in the first place. Because your goals, your dreams, your legacy, they're not optional. They're mandatory if you ever want to live a life worth remembering. Understand this motivation might get you started, but only discipline will carry you to the finish line. It's easy to show up when you're excited. It's what you do when you don't feel like it that defines you. If you only work when it's easy, you'll never be great. If you only push when it's fun, you'll always be replaceable. The great ones, the real ones, grind in silence, push in private, and bleed when nobody's watching. That's the mindset you need. You don't need motivation. You need purpose. You need commitment. You need to build a system so strong that even on your worst day, you're still executing at a level most people can't touch on their best day. Because that's the standard. That's how you win. So stop waiting. Start acting. Discipline is the weapon. Pick it up. Use it. Or stay weak. The choice is yours. Most people are addicted to distraction and don't even realize it. Their phones own them. Their attention is sold to the highest bidder. And their time, the most valuable currency on the planet, is wasted on nonsense. They wake up and the first thing they do is check notifications, scroll endlessly, feed their minds with drama, noise, and stupidity. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, unfulfilled, and lost. It's because your focus is under attack. Every second you spend consuming meaningless content is a second you're not building, not growing, not moving forward. Distraction is the new drug, and it's legal, accepted, and everywhere. But make no mistake, it's killing your potential just as effectively as any vice. You have to understand distraction isn't harmless. Every time you pick up your phone without purpose, you're weakening your ability to concentrate. Every time you escape into entertainment instead of facing your work, You're telling your brain that avoidance is the answer. And what you repeat, you reinforce. So you keep reinforcing weakness, laziness, mediocrity. You're programming yourself to be average because greatness demands focus. It demands clarity. It demands the ability to lock in and stay locked in while the rest of the world is chasing likes, memes, gossip, and fake dopamine. The world wants your attention because attention equals money. They distract you so they can profit. You waste hours and they collect data. You lose your edge and they gain control. And the worst part, you let it happen willingly, repeatedly. Think about what you could achieve if you reclaimed your attention. If you spent those wasted hours building a business, mastering a skill, sharpening your body, fortifying your mind, you'd be unrecognizable in 6 months. But you won't get there if you keep checking your phone every 5 minutes like a slave to a screen. That's what most people are, slaves. Not to chains, but to pixels. They've traded their ambition for convenience, their goals for cheap entertainment, their potential for the illusion of connection. And it's not because they're incapable, it's because they're undisciplined. If you want to rise above the noise, you have to start treating your focus like it's life or death. Because it is. Your ability to focus determines the quality of your life. Want better results? Get better at focusing. Want to outwork your competition? Learn how to shut out the noise. Want to build something legendary? Turn your attention into a weapon. You can't do that if you're constantly distracted. You can't do that if your mind is scattered across 5 apps and 20 conversations. You need silence, discipline, deep work. You need to learn to sit with boredom, to resist the urge to check your feed, to delay gratification until the work is done. And here's the truth most people can't handle: focus, your responsibility. Nobody's going to protect your time for you. The world will keep pulling at you, tempting you, baiting you with every new notification. It's on you to say no, to turn it off, to get serious. Because if you don't, you'll blink and a decade will be gone. You'll have nothing to show for it but a screen addiction and a list of goals you never started. Meanwhile, someone else, less talented than you, is winning. Why? Because they had the discipline to focus. They controlled their attention. They became a weapon while you were a passenger. So ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to be distracted? How much more of your life are you going to waste on nothing? Lock in. Tune out the noise and take back control. That's the only way to win in a world built to make you lose. The obsession with comfort is quietly destroying everything strong about you. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear, you deserve to rest. Take it easy. There's always tomorrow. And most people listen. They listen because it feels good. It feels safe. But what they don't understand is that comfort is the enemy of greatness. Comfort kills urgency. It kills discipline. It kills ambition. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're choosing to stay the same. You're choosing weakness over strength. And over time, that choice becomes your identity. You become soft. You become lazy. You become incapable of pushing through discomfort. So the moment life hits you hard, you break. Nothing worth having comes without struggle. Growth lives in discomfort. Progress demands pressure. If you want to become stronger, you have to suffer. You have to willingly step into pain, face it, conquer it, and come out harder than before. But most people aren't willing. They want the rewards, but not the work. They want the body without the discipline, the business without the grind, the life without the sacrifice. And that's why they stay stuck, because they're too obsessed with feeling good instead of becoming great. Look at the top 1% of people in any field. The athletes, the entrepreneurs, the warriors. None of them got there by staying comfortable. They got there because they were willing to endure what others couldn't. They trained when they were tired. They worked when it was boring. They pushed when it hurt. They said no to distractions, no to instant gratification, no to excuses. And that's why they're where they are, while the rest are sitting in comfort, making excuses for their failure. You've been lied to. You've been told that life is about happiness, that the goal is to feel good, to enjoy, to relax. That's how weak people think. Life is about purpose. Life is about becoming the strongest version of yourself. And that doesn't come from lying in bed. It comes from the battle, the fight, the struggle. You want confidence. Earn it. You want discipline. Build it. You want respect. Go through the fire and come out alive. You won't get that chasing comfort. You get that by facing what's hard and doing it anyway. Every time you run toward comfort, you're running away from growth. You're delaying the pain now just to suffer more later, because the bill always comes due. The body you neglected will break down. The opportunities you skipped will disappear. The life you wasted will haunt you. But if you flip the switch, if you start seeking discomfort, everything changes. You stop being scared. You stop hesitating. You start moving with purpose. You start becoming dangerous, because discomfort becomes your fuel. While others run from the storm, you walk straight into it. And that's when you separate yourself. Start doing what's hard. Wake up early, take cold showers, hit the gym even when you're tired. Say no to cheap dopamine. Read instead of scroll. Work instead of wait. Train your mind to thrive in discomfort until comfort feels like poison. Because that's how warriors are made. That's how killers are built. Through pain, through sweat, through absolute ruthless self-discipline. You weren't born to be soft. You weren't built to coast through life looking for easy. You were made for war. But you've forgotten that. And the only way to remember is to suffer on purpose. So kill the comfort. Smother it. Replace it with purpose, with pressure, with the pursuit of something real. That's where your power lies. That's how you level up. Comfort is the cage. Discomfort is the key. Choose wisely. Your excuses are lies, every single one of them. They're comforting stories you tell yourself to justify why you're not where you want to be. You say you're tired, you're busy, you're overwhelmed, you're waiting for the right time. But deep down, you know that's all nonsense. You know it's not a lack of time, it's a lack of discipline. It's not that you don't have the energy, it's that you don't have the will. You're not too tired, you're too weak to fight your own comfort. And every time you believe those excuses, you dig yourself deeper into failure. Successful people don't have fewer problems. They just refuse to let excuses define them. They feel tired too. They get hit with life too. But they show up anyway, because they understand something you don't yet. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to drag you out of bed, force you to hustle, or build your dream for you. That's on you. So you either become the kind of person who finds a way, or you stay the kind who finds excuses. That choice determines everything. When you give yourself an excuse, you let weakness win. You give it permission to take control. And the more you do it, the more it becomes who you are. You stop trusting yourself. You stop respecting yourself, because deep down you know you're lying. And that inner voice, the one that knows you're capable of more, it starts to go silent. It stops believing in you, because you've proven time and time again that you won't show up when it's hard. That's how excuses destroy you from the inside out. They don't just delay your progress, they erode your identity. You become someone who talks more than they act. Someone who dreams more than they build. Someone who watches others win and blames the world instead of facing the truth. If you want to become powerful, you need to wage war against excuses. Hunt them down. Challenge them. Expose them for the frauds they are. Every time you feel the excuse rising up, hit back. If you say you don't have time, prove it by tracking every minute of your day. You'll see how much you waste. If you say you're not motivated, get moving anyway. Motivation is a luxury. Discipline is survival. If you say you're not ready, remember that no one ever is. You become ready by acting, by failing, by learning, not by waiting. Your excuses are robbing you of your potential, your growth, your future. They're stealing your legacy and feeding you comfort in return. And you keep letting it happen. You keep choosing the easy way out, the soft answer, the lie that feels good instead of the truth that hurts. But if you want to rise above average, you need to kill that part of you. Kill the part that's always negotiating with laziness. Kill the part that's always looking for a way out. You need to become the kind of person who follows through, who says, I'll do it, and then does it no matter what. Because when you stop giving yourself excuses, you start building trust with yourself. You start becoming solid. You start becoming dangerous. The kind of person who moves with force, with direction, with purpose. The kind of person who gets things done while others are still talking about doing them. And that's who you need to be. Relentless, focused, unstoppable. Excuses are disease. Discipline is the cure. Choose wisely. Every time you make an excuse, you're choosing weakness. Every time you overcome it, you're choosing power. The life you want is on the other side of those choices. Now go earn it.